Steven Universe is the property of Cartoon Network, Rebecca Sugar, and its respective owners. Any and all footage or images have been used for the sole purpose of critique or parody, and as such are protected under fair use. Please support the official release. Hey, how are you? I'm Slice of Otaku, and Kevin is incredible. I mean, he's a pretty horrible person, but what he's able to bring to the show is something no other character has been capable of. Kevin breaks the Steven Universe formula. He's sort of the equivalent of a bug being purposely implemented in a string of code or game. Implemented so we can study how he interacts and affects his surroundings. And I absolutely adore this. Because really, in this series of alien invaders, magical relics, and cross-species anomalies, Kevin is the foreign entity. The series can be accurately described as Steven's universe. Steven is essentially an empath, latching onto the feelings of others. Steven extends love towards beings he connects with, but seems to be incapable of connecting with Kevin. Kevin, a mere human, someone who possesses no critical threat to the planet or all of humanity, happens to be the one being Steven has displayed hatred towards. Isn't this peculiar? We know next to nothing about this character's background, yet Steven loathes his existence. Kevin doesn't share the typical Steven Universe sentiments. He's purposefully sadistic, condescending, and cocky. As far as we know, Kevin only cares for himself, which is opposed to every other character in the series. Even the Diamonds, as we've seen, care for one another. In this sense, Kevin can be considered the character with the most villainous traits in relation to this world. But mind you, this is limited to Steven's perception and what he may be exposed to, because by being shackled to Steven, we live with this limited cognition. In the episode Beach City Drift, Kevin does something very interesting. He momentarily assimilates himself within the Steven Universe mold. He speaks of a sick younger brother and points towards this as the reasoning behind his jerkish demeanor. And Steven, or rather Stevonnie, begins to cling towards this. Once Kevin began to fit in with Steven's universe, he was accepted. Stevonnie expressed compassion and felt for him, but Kevin soon dismisses this notion. The actual reason he behaves in this way is because it amuses him. Whereas Steven enjoys the happiness of others, Kevin enjoys taking happiness from others. Steven feeds off the happiness of others, yet Kevin removes his metaphoric food source. Kevin is Steven's character foil. Kevin is tall, his hair is well kept, he's well dressed, avoids what he deems to be weird, and is a jerk. Steven is short, his hair doesn't change from the moment he wakes up in the morning, he dresses plainly, is rather explorative in the realm of weirdness, and is a loving being. Despite this, Kevin is sort of tied to Stevonnie. Whenever she's in public, there's an interaction with Kevin. Honestly, without Connie, Steven would never be able to beat Kevin. What this conveys to the viewer is, Steven has the advantage of others. He isn't alone, but as his foil, Kevin is alone. Personally, I'm looking forward to the day in which Steven has to face Kevin by his lonesome, or even just a more in-depth look into Kevin's life. The purpose he serves in this world makes him my favorite human, well, besides Connie, of course. Also, I want to express that Kevin and Lars are two different breeds of jerk. Lars desires the affirmation of others due to his own low self-esteem. He desires acceptance because he does not completely accept himself. Kevin, on the other hand, desires the attention of others because his self-esteem is incredibly high. His ego is so inflated that he considers his presence to be a gift to others. And speaking of presence, Stevonnie is so captivating that every human in her presence is just put on pause. They can't speak to or approach her because they're just so mesmerized. But Kevin acknowledges her and approaches. And at the time, Stevonnie had a fusion crisis. She was breaking down, but Kevin interrupted. So I question, if Stevonnie wasn't in such a mental spiral, would she have been okay with Kevin? Because looking back, it wasn't that bad. I mean, the only thing that I didn't like was him constantly calling her baby. But besides that, Kevin really didn't do much. It didn't grant hatred in my eyes. He was only there for like a snap. And I also bring this up because everybody in Beach City was stunned by her. Everybody couldn't speak, but Kevin saw them as equals. Granted, he saw everyone else as garbage people, but he was the one person who could actually talk to her, and I think that's pretty interesting. And you know what, fun fact, Kevin is apparently Matt Burnett's favorite character. Matt Burnett, for those of you who may not be aware, is a writer on the Crooniverse. But guys, let me know what you think about Kevin. Do you agree that he breaks the rules of Steven's universe? Or do you think something entirely different? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to share this video with any lovable jerks you know, or might be. Thanks for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.